Okay, here's the day 2 video of the Arena Open. Yes. Played this last night, so I think it's going to be interesting even for me to rewatch right now. See how much I even remember. But yeah, just looking at the rares here, pretty sure I wanted to play green, black, also blue for Ibrahim. It would be nice if I could play blot out in the sky. But it ended up being a lot easier for me to play blue than white. And I was thinking maybe I could have splash for blot out the sky, and I probably should have, looking back, because for some reason in the late game my deck just kind of ran out of steam all the time. I don't know why. But I ended up checking the lessons first here. Most of them I can play with just green and black, so that was good. And I checked my learn cards as well. Most of them were blue, so I pretty much ended up splashing blue just for the learn cards. And I had one decent green blue card. Yeah, maybe the one thing I probably should have done was play blot out the sky. But I was playing the Drake and the Ether Helix. And I had 3 Quandrich Campus, which is basically why it made it a lot easier just to play blue. So here's how the deck ended up. I don't think I changed it much other than just sideboarding. I think maybe the Groff wasn't that great. But I think it maybe would have been easy for me to splash for white. But I was having enough trouble getting the 3 colors that I was playing. Okay, so here's the first game now. The first match, I guess I should say. The first game of the first match. And I have all the colors with my lands. I also have the letter of acceptance. And I'm playing first, so not the fastest hand. Don't have anything to do until turn 4. And now I draw a 3-cost card, so yeah, just deciding, thinking a few turns ahead here, what I would rather do. And I ended up just playing the pop quiz. And it would also give me more options because it draws me a card. And now I have a 2-cost spell, so maybe I could fit that in somewhere. So playing against Silverquill here, I think that was a pretty aggressive deck. So it was probably lucky that I was playing first this game. Otherwise I probably would have already been too far behind. Even now my mana's kind of awkward. Don't really know what to do. I suppose if I had played the letter of acceptance on turn 3, then maybe I could have just played Rise on turn 5, so that probably would have been better. Instead of playing the pop quiz like I did. I think at the time I didn't know if I was going to draw the lands, but I would have only needed like 1 more, I think, at that point. But yeah, here I'm like pretty far behind. Thought I was just maybe just going to lose the first game here. This Witherbloom command, I forgot that it was a sorcery, I don't think I play it here anyway. Because I figured I could take one hit here. Even though it almost kills me. And now I decide to play the letter. Yeah, probably would have been a lot better had I played that earlier. So now I have to discard 2. I wanted to play Rise and Witherbloom Command on the same turn, and for that I would need the untapped land, but I ended up just discarding it here because I didn't want to actually discard spells. So I know that I have the Witherbloom Command for their 3/1. I think the problem is, okay, I just use Rise here. Yeah, this is like a pretty awkward hand. I can't even use the Ether Helix now because they exiled my graveyard. I guess maybe I didn't even have any permanents in the graveyard. But this play ended up working out, I think. Just drawing with the letter. So now they have a flyer, they can make the Orator fly. My plan was to use the Witherbloom Command that turn, but I forgot that it was a sorcery. Not a huge fan of the Witherbloom Command. But yeah, if I can just exile their Combat Professor here, then their creature doesn't even fly anymore, and I can attack to gain some life. I have a lot of lessons to learn, so a lot of the time it took me a while to decide which one to get. With the Book of Manage is so bad here. The only reason I played it because then they can't block and kill the Leech Fanatic, but might have been better just to play the Prophecy. I didn't really care about them boosting the creature here because I could just bounce it. And yeah, pretty glad that I had the Leech Fanatic in this deck. I knew that I needed some cheap creatures, and yeah, did pretty well this game, gaining me a lot of life. Yeah, I wanted to play the Honor Troll, but I mean, just because it would gain me one more life, but I don't think it would have been worth it in this situation. Just want to leave up Arcane Subtraction here if they block. I think I almost just accepted this trade, expecting them to have something. But yeah, they didn't, so it's pretty nice that they could duress me there after I got the Fractal Summoning. But I think I'm just far enough ahead at this point to to win the game from here. Even though I'm at 7, the opponent's at 25. So I could have used Imbraham's ability for 4 here. But then I'm only just drawing 1 card. So I decided just to do it for 1. And then use the letter of acceptance to draw another card. Of course I didn't know there were just 2 lands on top of the library. And yeah, whether or not to attack with Imbraham here, I probably maybe shouldn't have, but I knew I could just scry anyway with the 5 mana that I had left. And yeah, I get to gain some life with Lizette on the board. And that was game 1. So just sideboarding now. Yeah, I should have sideboarded in Lash here. And I probably should have just been playing Negate in the main deck as well. I think I ended up putting in Tangle Trap. Mainly just for that, whatever that bird is called, that boosts the other creatures and gives them vigilance. And yeah, I think I played Frost Trickster as well because it's a flyer that can block their creatures. But yeah, definitely I should have put Lash in. I didn't even notice it when I was sideboarding. Village Rites was kind of in the main deck for a bit when I was building the deck, but probably doesn't really fit this deck anyway. I don't really have any like expendable small creatures in this deck other than the pest summoning from the sideboard. This was pretty awkward in terms of mana. I'm drawing all green cards here, and I probably should have just played the campus here, but I think I played the pop quiz. And of course, I just draw another campus, which means yeah. I think the one reason I played the pop quiz is because I could still play the draft and get a forest at the same time, but I think it would have been way better just to play the campus and forget about playing pop quiz there. I'm not sure what they were doing here. I don't know what they were doing. I thought they might have an expel or something. I don't know why they said to stop on my upkeep. So yeah, I decided to play the campus anyway now. And then just play the sciences. I had nothing to do with the green mana anyway. But yeah, I decided not to attack them. Normally I would just attack all the time, but since they had their mana up, I think I was worried about expel for some reason. And I basically, I felt like I forced them to use their removal there. So I think I just play Imbraham here. Because even if they do boost the Light Scribe once, Imbraham can still block it. and I have the Helix to get it back if I need to. So they definitely didn't run out of spells to cast to keep boosting this Light Scribe. But eventually in the late game, I feel like I just win this game because they just have a lot of small creatures in their deck. I didn't really care that they boosted their creature there because I have the Helix in my hand. I can draw one card with Ibrahim here. And I think I just go for a double block as well. Not really caring if my creatures die because I can get one of them back. But they were able to kill both of them here. So it was pretty good for them, I guess, that exchange. Getting a 2-for-1 from their spell. And you never really get to do anything with the Witherbloom command other than the -3, -1 and the drain for 2. Which is why it's so bad. There's like 4 different modes on it, but 2 of them basically do nothing. Because the opponent never has any like 2 mana non-creature permanents. And the milling to get a land never really seems that useful. Wasn't for me anyway. And I'm pretty sure I just wanted to use Ibrahim's ability here. I was trying to check in the sideboard what lessons I had left, because I did have the pop quiz in my hand. I thought about using this for less than 3, but I just did it for 3 anyway, and I'm glad that I did, because I just hit 3 lands in a row. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I was in a position that I was pretty sure I should just win this game. But the opponent just kept drawing cards every turn, somehow. So I can play Lizette and use the drain, but I don't have the 1 extra mana for the boost. Okay, I don't know if this play was correct, but because they, of course, even though they had no cards in hand, of course they were going to draw the Mage Hunter's Onslaught. But if I did have Lizette, I could have been draining with the Spectre and boosting my whole team at the same time. I was kind of getting worried about my clock sometimes. But all I needed to do was win this game anyway, and the clock didn't matter. I don't know why I was always behind in the clock. I didn't feel like I was playing that slowly. One mana away from 2 drains with the Spectre. But yeah, after they played the 3-1, I knew that I could use the Witherbloom command on it, and they're basically just dead here, I think. I get the drain for 2 from the Witherbloom command. Which is actually pretty good when they're at 5. So they had this +1/+1 counter spell. But yeah, they gave it flying, so I just killed it. And yeah, they're dead anyway. I didn't even need the drain. The 6 mana drain. So yeah, that was match 1, 2-0. And now for the for the fun times. I didn't draw the Sedgemoor Witch all that often, I don't feel like, but whenever I played it, it never lasted more than like 2 seconds on the board. I considered maybe saving spells for after when I played the Sedgemoor Witch. But given that I had nothing else to do on turn 3 here, I played a Witch, but of course they had the Lash with the, yeah, that was really good for them. Got to play Lash there with the 1 mana they had open. But I guess I was happy that the Symmetrist just stops their whole team here. And I guess if they didn't play Lash on the Sedgemoor Witch, they could have been attacking. Because they could have used that to kill the Symmetrist. I've got a lot of life gain here. I was worried the opponent would have an Expel or something like that. And I don't know if I should have played around it, but I didn't. Just went for the draft there to make my creature a 13/13 trample creature. So they attack here. I don't even think they had anything. Oh, they had the, yes. Ugh, this guy. Every single game you're going to see that destroy all creatures spell, and probably the, yep, both mythic rares. Every single game against this guy. And we never even got like halfway through our decks by the time they played both of their mythic rares. Just to destroy all creatures and then blot out the sky. Every game. Which I was thrilled about. Yeah, I'm probably going to get annoyed rewatching some of these, like, especially against this player. But they are top decking now. But when has that ever stopped my opponents from winning? Generally, they just draw everything they need all the time. And I don't, that's why I scry there. I feel like every time I scry, it's never a land. And then when I don't scry, what do I draw? A land? And that happens so many times. I even get another land from the letter of acceptance. Yeah. So eventually I did win that game, but it was still pretty dumb. And I should board in negate here, but I think I forget. Or I didn't notice it at the time. I was thinking, yeah, at least I boarded in the Lash this time. But negate, I think, is what I really needed in this matchup. I don't think I end up playing the Essence Infusion. Okay, I guess I do. Because I am against an aggressive deck, so I figured the life gain might be useful. Here I have the Sedgemoor Witch again. It's probably going to die as soon as I play it. Otherwise it would probably just win me the game. And of course they have the Lash. So I could use the Witherbloom command on their creature, but I also wanted to fetch an island. So I figured I don't really need to use the Witherbloom command right away. And this isn't the most interesting use of Arcane Subtraction. The opponent also got stuck on lands here. Wow. I guess at this point I thought I was just going to win the game. The opponent missed another land drop. Wow. But yeah, I remember. The problem with this game is that I could not draw the second black source. It was pretty annoying. That's all I needed the whole game to play the Rise or the Fumes. Yeah, pretty infuriating. That the closing statement there, it's good for them. And even with all these scries and everything, I wanted this Rise, but I guess it, like I knew that I just thought that maybe I'll draw the black source eventually. There are like 6 of them left in the deck. And yeah, if I don't scry here, I'll probably just draw a land that isn't a swamp. But if I do scry, there'll be a card that I want, so so what do you do? And yep, now it's the campus. Yep. I feel like my luck must, yeah, my luck must be so bad. Given that the opponent missed like how many land drops, and then I still just lose the game. Like, I guess my opponent was, yeah, and then they had the gods for the game. Just nothing was going right. And then they blot out the sky, or they create. So I knew that this whole time I knew that I had Containment Breach in the sideboard to kill their dramatic finale, but just not having the second black for the Rise, so that I could get the Containment Breach. And yeah, that game was very frustrating. But yeah, now I realize, oh, I have Negate in the sideboard here. Probably should just be in the main deck. I was thinking after this. The only reason I keep the Witherbloom command in is because they do have like one toughness creature in the deck. Otherwise I'd probably just cut it. Even though I do have cards like Lizette and the Blood Researcher that want you to gain life. I couldn't really decide what to cut. I probably should have just cut the Essence Infusion there. But I think I just submitted a 41 card deck for this game. This was pretty annoying, this Agonizing Remorse, after I just got the cram session. I mean, yeah, I got the Environmental Sciences with the cram session, but luckily I drew the Swamp there. And I also drew a Forest so I could play the Symmetrist too, so... Lash seems good here. I can't really lash the squad like I want to, because then they'll have a 4-powered... They'll have a 4/4 first strike. I don't know if it was correct to do it the way that I did it. But I knew that with the Ether Helix I could get the Symmetrist back. But there wasn't really anything to bounce here. There's no real point bouncing one of their lands. I think they were stuck on 4 lands anyway. I think I just get the Pest Summoning here. Never really want to play Valentin instead of Lizette. But here I go for the Lizette because if I do gain any life I can boost my creatures. Not that they would want to block here anyway, but of course they had the flunk. I knew I wanted to get the Lizette back, but didn't really know what to do with this turn. I knew that if I played the Helix, I could also play the Poet. So yeah, that's just what I did here. I don't think I really made too many mistakes other than playing against the opponent who just draws as well as they do. Like, they miss a couple of lane drops at the start, but after they start playing their Mythic Rares, that doesn't even matter. I could have just attacked with 1 Pest here and then I could have played the Needlehorn Drake. But eventually I just hold back the Needlehorn Drake just in case they have the Sweeper anyway. That worked out because I also got to kill one of their creatures, because of the first strike boosted one of my pests. And from here it looks like I can win. I don't know if I should have used that Rise then, because technically I could still attack with both creatures. It's just if they did have a spell, then they get to kill Lizette, I guess. So maybe that Rise was a bit aggressive. Especially when I know they have a Sweeper in their deck. And I end up just not playing the Drake here because I was like, they're gonna just destroy all the creatures, aren't they? So yeah, I suppose playing Rise then was wrong. Maybe I would have won the game if it wasn't for that. But it's probably not even close from this point because they probably just blot out the sky for 1 million. Yep. Because why wouldn't they have it? Even from there, even after they destroyed all creatures and then blotted out the sky, it was looking okay. Until they played another rescuer to get the pledge mage back. Yeah, these games were just pretty annoying to play. Even here they're down to 4. So I make a mistake here, but why do I have to draw lands when I don't want to? I knew that I had the fractal summoning to play. That attack was wrong, by the way. I shouldn't have made that attack there. But I think when I get annoyed, I think I just start getting careless and playing badly. But does my opponent just also have to have everything all the time? And now I get the. That's actually pretty funny that now I get the negate, the card that would have just won me the game earlier. If I could have counted either of their mythic rare spells, I would have just won that game. Yeah, that match was... yeah, pretty annoying that game. That whole match against that player. But yeah, I won the first. I was pretty happy with my deck. I won the first match 2-0, and then that was a really close 2-1. I think I'd play the Spectre here, just because it costs 4. Maybe if I draw a land, I can just do 2 things next turn. Even if I don't, I could just pop quiz for a environmental sciences. I make this attack here. I don't think it was correct. I think this attack was just bad because I don't want them to double block. I also don't want them to attack me for 6 next turn. So I think I pop quiz here and I just draw the land so I don't need to get environmental sciences. Which I was planning on getting so that I would have mana for Rise. Don't know if I should have played the troll there or just the pest summoning. So yeah, I think the first games went pretty well, but for some reason after sideboarding, that, yeah. After sideboarding it, I didn't do as well. But yeah, this was just like pretty awkward, this board. It's like, I've got cards in my hand, and but I just can't attack here, which was the problem. I just had too many creatures. Even though I had a removal spell, I wouldn't open. Well, I wouldn't be able to attack. So yeah, I can even get another removal spell here, but I'm like, even 2 removal spells and I kind of still can't attack. And if their colony does grow to a 4/4, then I don't really have a good block on it, because I don't want to trade my Symmetrist for it. And they put a land on top, which I was kind of happy about because it's a bad draw for them. They're just wasting their draw. But I think the reason they did it is so they could grow the colony. And here I just start removing their creatures because I'm like, at some point I just need to start attacking. Also, I just wanted the fractal summoning. That's maybe the main reason why I used Rise there. Thought about blocking here, but then I was thinking maybe I'll draw Lizette, maybe, and then I'll want to have the pest for the life gain to get a bit more value out of it. I was considering getting the Sedgemoor Witch back, or the Spectre. I think I got the Spectre. They didn't have any ways to stop flying creatures, and I could just start draining them. The only problem with the Spectre is it's 6 mana to drain them, and I have a fractal summoning that I want to cast at some point. So I'm not sure if it would have been better to get the Witch. I was considering using the draft here. It would have been like almost lethal. It would have been 9 more damage there, and I put them down to 10, so I would have put them down to 1. As if they have nothing. But I figured as long as I don't lose the Spectre, I should win this game. So I do a fractal summoning here, but I do it for 1 less than I can, just in case they have like a 4 damage spell to maybe kill the Spectre, which is exactly what they had. So I can scry here and still have enough mana for the drain. The funny thing was, if I did draw an untapped land, I could have done 2 drains. And I knew that at the time, but I decided just to scry anyway. Because maybe there'll be a campus on top. But of course the campus was the next card after the untapped land. Yeah, yep. Every time I scry, it's just wrong every time. Because when I do, it's like, well, there's a card that I would probably just want to draw anyway. And here I just like, okay, I won't scry this time. Of course, it's just a land that I don't want. But yeah, at that point the game was over. And now I brought in the negate. I am playing as the blue-red deck, I think. I should have used that view battlefield more. I don't play a lot of best of 3. So that would have been helpful instead of me just sitting here the whole time trying to think, what do they have in their deck? The funny thing is I put in negate and I saw that they had 3 spells that can't be countered. I think the Groff probably shouldn't have been in the main deck, because every single time I just took it out. So yeah, I managed to win the first game against every opponent so far. Yeah, this was... I knew they had heated debates, but what else could I really do? I couldn't really sideboard around them, I don't think, because I like what creatures have more than 4 toughness. Even though that I knew they had like infinite heated debates, it's like what, like how do I get around that? I think this game was kind of one-sided. I considered topping the swamp here, because at this point I didn't have double black, and I knew that I had some good double black cards, but I didn't even have any of the double black cards. The subtraction, yeah, I should have topped that swamp, I think. Because I knew I kind of wanted to get the fumes from the sideboard in order to get rid of the Dragon's Guard Elite. But the fact that I don't have double black means that I also need to get an Environmental Sciences. When I could have just... I wanted to just get something else. So yeah, the only real way I have of dealing with the Elite is with the fumes here, because I haven't just drawn a rise. So yeah, this is the second time I got stuck on black mana. And the game's not looking too bad from this point. I was kind of able to stabilize, but the opponent probably just draws pretty well here. And even though I can draw more cards than Scry, I don't think it really matters. And then there again. As soon as I decide that I'm not going to scry, there's 2 lands on top, and I'm dead. I think the reason I decided not to scry is in case I draw a rise, I wouldn't have been able to play it. And then of course there's the negate on top. That would have been nice when they cast their learn spell, but of course it's always late. Okay, so the final game of this match. I was pretty happy with my starting hand, and I was playing first. Unfortunately, I knew that the opponent was just going to heated debate every single creature I played. Actually, I don't... Yeah, I think I got to keep this Blood Researcher for a while. yeah, they had the heated debate, but they decided to use it on the Spectre instead of the Blood Researcher. It would have been nice to have both of those. Just being able to activate the Spectre and boost the Blood Researcher with it. And here there's like so many decisions. Like, I think I just get the Pest Summoning, because I can just play it this turn. It can grow the Blood Researcher if the pests die. And they learned a Pest Summoning here when they didn't even have any green or black mana, but then they played a Forest. I didn't want to use Rise on a Campus Guide here, so I can just scry with the Quandrix Campus. Probably means there's a decent card on top and not a land that I can just throw away. Yeah, I didn't need the letter. I usually bottom it because I'll just draw the next card anyway instead of needing to pay 5 mana to do it. So I think it's correct just to bottom the letter in situations like that. Don't know if it was correct to get Sciences then, probably not, but it only costs 2, so I knew that I could play Rise and Sciences in the same turn, next turn. I was pretty sure I just wanted to leave up the Scry mana this turn. Yeah, that Elemental Masterpiece, not what I wanted to see here. If that was like anything else, this whole time I'm expecting them just to play one of these 4/4s, but then they play 2 with 1 spell, which is harder to deal with. I attack with the Pests here just so that I could grow the Blood Researcher if they blocked. And at this point I might have been getting tired, but yeah, this was, yeah, I think I remember what happens on this turn. Or maybe it's the next turn. Yeah, it's probably the next turn. So I can cast Rise on their 4/4. Or I can just make a big fractal. That's probably what I do here. I could have played the Assistant because there was another Rise in the in my graveyard. But here I just attack and I don't even really. Yeah, I play the Mage Hunter first because if they do play a removal spell or something, at least I'll lose a life. But I just attacked here without even looking at what their blocks would be. If they did have the 4 damage spell, they could just kill the fractal there, but they, yeah. I go for the Biblioplex Assistant, and yeah, I think I needed to put pressure on because they did have more cards in their hand than me. But yeah, this was just pretty frustrating at this point, the rest of this game. It just all went to... It just all went bad very quickly. And of course they played their Bomb Mythic Rare, which didn't help. But I guess they already had way more cards than me anyway. So yeah, this game, you can imagine how the rest of this game goes. So they could just be attacking with the Muse there just to discount their spell. So also I'm just so low on life, I can't just not make that block. But yeah, there's unless I had the sweeper in my deck, I can't win that game. That yeah, I guess games like that are reasons why I wish that I had Blot Out in the Sky in my deck. Because maybe I would have something for the late game that can maybe turn the game around. But anyway, after all that time, didn't even get the gems back. Got 4,000 gems back after paying 4,500 and spending a bunch of time playing the game, many hours. But anyway, I suppose it's for fun, even if it's pretty annoying at times. And yeah, I don't think I played like perfectly or anything, but at the same time, that it was pretty frustrating, some of those games. And yeah, I was actually really happy with the cards that I got and the deck that I made. So yeah, some of my draws weren't great either, but yeah, anyway. I guess that'll be it for this video of the Arena Open Day 2. Didn't go as well as I'd hoped, but at least I didn't have to stay up until like 4 AM. But anyway, that'll be it for this video, so thanks for watching, bye!